Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Massive video. So tonight, the Leon and Marnie banners are dropping, right? Separate banners. Obviously, Leon's the mascot and Marnie is the Pokefair, right? And by the way, I will be summoning live, probably on Leon first, because that's the one that people are more excited for. So check it out when the the banners go live. We'll be live streaming. Probably notifications will help you find when it actually goes live, right? So, anyways, let's talk about this, right? So I'm not gonna go too much into detail into like the unit, because I already just did a breakdown video yesterday, but we could just quickly go over it, right? So Marnie is actually, you know what? I'll talk about it because some people are confused by Marnie because Marnie's kit is slightly confusing, right? So we'll go over it. So, in terms of stats, right? Solid attack, special attack. It is attack, right? 620 HP, really good speed, okay-ish defense, right? They're just all around great stats. So, what Marnie is basically a tech damage dealer, right? It's straight up a damage dealer, and it does a lot of damage. It's an incredible damage dealer, right? So depending on how much Marnie's mood swing passive boosts it by, if it's 1.3 times or 1.5 times, if it's 1.5 times, Marnie does more damage, right, than any other 3-gauge non-field effects, damage deal in the whole game, right? If it's 1.3, I think Marnie is number 2, right? Although Marnie is not a 2-gauge damage, or not a 3-gauge, it's a 2-gauge, right? And that's really, really impressive, again, for just a 2-gauge move, and a 300-something speed unit, right? Which is fantastic with good HP also. So Marnie's just a straight up damage dealer. You could switch between electric and dark type damage. Obviously, dark type damage is much better than electric type damage. But the electric type damage is still solid as well, right? So let's go over the kit. So starting off, you got Thundershock, 10% chance to paralyze, but you do have hostile environment 5, so the chance of actually paralyzing will be much higher. And then you got Power Trip. This is your main damaging move. This is basically dark physical stored power, right? And you guys know how powerful stored power is in this game. If you guys see Musharna's absolutely just bonkers damage numbers, right? This is just the dark type version of that, but physical. So the more stats that are raised, the greater the power of this move. So this is an incredible move, right? One of the top damaging moves in the game. Moving on, Aura Wheel raises your speed. In full belly mode, this attack is electric type, and hangry move, it's dark type, right? Not incredible BP, right? The power isn't super high, but again, it is also another option. Raise your speed, all that stuff, and you use this to raise your speed, and then you use snack time to convert those speed into attack stats, right? So if you get +3 speed, you use 2 of these, and you get +6 attack, right? Or +6 speed and use it once. It depends on your priorities, I guess. So it gives you +1 attack, and then if your speed has been raised, it also raises the attack by the same amount. Actually, I guess that's only 2 then, so something like that. But when you're in full belly mode, it makes you gradually heal, and when you're in hangry mode, it gives you crit. So yeah, and basically the way to change forms is with Hunger Switch, right? After you use a move, it switches between full belly and hangry mode. And when you're in full belly mode, it powers up your electric type moves, and when you're in hangry mode, it powers up your dark type moves. Again, we don't know if it's a 50% or 30%, but regardless, 50%, 30% are all really good, right? So we'll just have to see what it is. So again, Aura Wheel is your main damage dealing move. Even if you are in like full belly mode, your Aura Wheel still does like crazy damage if you have it buffed up, right? So the big thing about Marnie is if you're running Marnie, you just need like units to buff her stats a lot, right? She already buffs her stats like quite a bit with like the speed buffs here. You get attack buffs and all that stuff. You get crit buffs, but obviously you want more, right? So the more buffs you get, the more powerful Power Trip is. And she does have a good sync move, right? You know, it's a tech sync move, right? With the innate, you know, 2 times multiplier if the opponent is paralyzed, and then also if you're in hanger mode, to change it back to full belly mode. But it's not like a huge deal. I would just prefer just keep on spamming Aura Wheel and just have like someone else on the team sync instead. Even though you do have like stuff like Static Shock 3 on your grid, right? But again, most of the time you're going to be using her like as a dark type striker anyways, right? So, you know, it's just use someone else to sync. But as for the grid, the move gauge refresh 4 on Thundershock, super preparation 4 on snack time, which is actually really good, right? You have 50% chance to get the super effective bonus on your move, which is obviously fantastic. She doesn't have like anything, like she doesn't have like too much crazy stuff on her grid. There are some good stuff, right? Stuff like MP Rekindle is nice, I guess, right? And then on top of that, you have, you know, another MP refresh on sack time if you need more of those. Speedy entry could help in some scenarios. Aura Wheel, move gauge refresh, ramming speed on Aura Wheel. So if you want to do electro type damage, Aura Wheel could definitely, you know, provide you with some solid damage there as well. And then obviously Power Trip, move gauge refresh too, and then the power ups for Power Trip. Like your main like important stuff is just to pick up all these Power Trip power ups, because again, these are just so powerful, right? Nurse, that's another sync move multiplier, right? So like your sync move again can do really good damage. Then you got, you know, staggering 2, 30% chance to flinch on your on Thundershock. So it kind of turns like into like a mini Volkner in terms of it's like a 1 gauge Thunder Fang sort of deal with a, you know, kind of like Volkner there, right? So anyways, yeah, this Pokemon in my opinion is heavily slept on. I think of all my 4 videos I did yesterday, like this one like probably had like the least amount of views. 4 videos for like the new Datamined units, which is slightly interesting because I thought Marnie was more popular than that. I mean, she is still obviously very popular, but yeah, I think people are sleeping on her a lot because she's fantastic in terms of like damage dealing, right? Really great damage. And again, it's just like on a 2 gauge. It's just on a 2 gauge. And the other great thing about Morpeko is like you could just totally, because it's a 2 gauge damage dealer, you could just run her, you know, beside like another damage dealer, so you could like run 2 of those and then, you know, 1 support, and that's just money, right? If you run something like Marnie, Mighty Yena, and like a Blastoise or something like that, like that's just a fantastic team over there, right? That you get, or something like, or like run with Xerneas or whatever, Skyla. Just there's just a lot of options, right? That can make, you know, a fantastic like dual dark type striker team. Or again, if you know, you could also run it with an electric team as well with Aura Wheel. It increases your speed, and all that, right? With some kind of like Luxray team. But I do prefer, obviously, like I mentioned, for the dark type, because the dark type is dark type you know, build for Marnie is just so incredibly powerful, right? So yeah, in terms of the unit, it's definitely something that you could go for, right? Again, it is a Pokefair banner, so, you know, Pokefair banners are always, you know, a good option to summon on because they do have higher rates for the other 5 stars and all that, right? So it is definitely an option. Obviously, if you're a huge fan of Marnie and Morpeko, this is a really great pickup, right? But in terms of, do you want to go for her or is like say Leon? Because they're coming out at the same time, right? I'd say probably maybe Leon first, because you are getting, first of all, you're getting presents for the Leon banner. So and also, we don't know how often like master sync pairs are going to come back, right? And Pokefairs generally come back relatively quickly these days, right? Usually a 3, 4 month gap, usually not longer than 4 months, right? And when they come back, except for this like Gloria rerun, usually they come on like dual banners as well, which is usually a dual 1.5% rates for both of them. So you have like a combined 3% chance to get at least one of the Pokefairs, which are usually nice. So I do like reruns now a lot with these Pokefair banners. Obviously, you do have to wait, you have to be patient with it. But if you are patient with it, I do think the reward is relatively nice on dual banners, or dual Pokefair banners, especially for free to play players, right? So, yeah, obviously if you're a whale, you could just buy whatever, right? You don't have to listen to me. But yeah, she's fantastic, and people just don't realize how powerful Power Trip is. So anyways, yeah, this one I guess. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me guys think in the comments down below. Like and this video, subscribe to my channel, so more Pokemon Masters content. And again, I will be summoning on these live when the banners go live tonight. So tune in, have fun, good luck to everyone summoning, and I'll see you guys later tonight then.